Hi, welcome to Antique Quest and another episode of Harris & Sons Auctions walkthrough videos. And this is for our Sportsman auction, our Firearms Sportsman auction, which is on until this Thursday coming up, which is the 23rd. Couple new rules that the good old Trudeau boys have thrown at us, and one is that I have to phone in and get a transfer number for every single long gun like we used to do with pistols and restricted stuff. Now we have to do it with non-restricted. It's not a big deal for the buyers, it's a big deal for the sellers. We have to keep records for 20 years, etc., etc. A whole bunch of typical garbage that they've thrown at us, which makes no sense whatsoever, does nothing, as you guys all know. But what it does do is it delays us being able to get guns shipped out to you because we have to phone them all in. Now, as long as everything goes smoothly, it shouldn't be a problem. If, however, they find any fault whatsoever with your firearms license, it is going to delay things considerably. The other thing I wanted to let you know is we're probably going to be closing for 2-3 weeks in July just to get things all cleaned up, and once a year you got to do this just to get everything sorted out and get all the odds and ends in their places, and a lot of estates coming in, and we've just been trying to keep up for so long we need a little breathing room. So we have a lot of great stuff coming into auctions after that. This old jewelry scale, there's parking meters for you parking meter collectors, there's a pile of them. There's some great advertising, some really good nautical stuff, some ship models, big bronze ships props, folk art, genuine art, David Lacey paintings, all sorts of stuff coming up. We're gonna have just a blockbuster sale that's probably going to be August, just to give you a little heads up there. And we might be sending out a mailer for a tag sale, so keep your eyes open for that. If you're on our mailing list, we're gonna have a tag sale, a big estate, lots of big gorgeous furniture. Not something we run through auction regularly because it just takes up so much space and we don't have it, so we're going to do what's called a tag sale, where we'll be there and we'll price things and you can come out and buy them. So keep your eye open for that, but for now we're going to give you a quick overview of what we have in the firearms auction, and I'll get a couple of the guns out and show you those as well, but I'm just going to do a walk around as we usually do and just explain a few things that are in front of me, and we'll go from there. Thanks. Okay, got a couple pellet guns there. Nice old Daisy. And this one's got a whole load of BBs still in it. Now I do have a lot of clocks left from the clock auction that lot didn't sell, so I have a lot and they're reduced in price. So if you were watching the clock auction and you saw one that didn't sell that you were interested in, just get in touch with me and we can go from there. Great set of old snowshoes. These are some great outboard motors. Early vintage stuff, and they all have compression and they pull nice. This is an Elgin 3.5, probably I'm gonna say early 60s, and I think this little Evinrude, I think that goes back to late 40s, early 50s. But these are great. You get a classic little wooden rowboat, and usually there's not a whole lot to these older engines, so you can get them going. Some great Micmac snowshoes with the little tough decoration on the side. And look at this monstrous set of moose antlers. 24 point, just a New Brunswick beast. And any chips that were in it were already in it when he shot it. These are all just from fighting some other bulls. Got some beautiful big pans on there. And nicely mounted, well mounted on that board that'll stand up. Powder horn, a shot flask, lots of shot in that. Nice Boucher bear carving there. And we've got some gun cases down there. Now these are kind of interesting. These are the original Winchester advertisement for their gold-plated gun series there. This is the Comanche, and we have the Apache, and who else we got? That is the Cheyenne, and that is the Sioux. So any of you guys that are familiar with the collector series of Winchester rifles, those were the early ads for them. And they're all just underneath. They don't look like they've been mounted, so they're a little ripply, but you can have them reframed, but these were probably the frames that they came in. So neat for you Winchester collectors. Nice lot of fishing reels. Some of them are pretty badly damaged actually. This one's missing a chunk, but it was started off real low price, so you get a nice fly reel there and another one there. There's a hunting knife collection there. Nothing too special, but it is new in its box. That one's kind of interesting. That's just a Brazil. This is another set of moose antlers that came in after. Now these are really neat because there's a chance these would be, let's see if I can unhook that. Chance these might be mainland moose because they're probably taken, according to this backboard, back in the early teens, maybe even turn of the century, and they came out of the Liverpool area. So there's quite a good chance that those are mainland moose. We've got a nice fishing creel here and a great set of oxen horns there. Another great clock there. Let's see, clocks. Oh, here we go, Ducks Unlimited. This is really a neat thing that doesn't show up very well at all, but this is like an etched glass panel that's sitting on the outside of the glass, actually. So it's just the way it's been framed, double matted in behind, all under glass, and signed. But Ducks Unlimited, this was just given to the sponsors, so you couldn't get that anywhere else. We've got a nice limited edition duck print there, quite a large one, beautifully framed. And let's see, we got some really neat decoys down here. I don't know who made these, but that's a great form on that one. Glass eyes, interesting weight. Got a nice pair there, match pair. Lousy lighting here, sorry. And this is from a 1912 Winchester calendar. Really scarce early Winchester advertising piece there. It's been trimmed, of course, but it would have had the calendar underneath it originally. But a lot of that happened. They just, calendar was no good after that year, so they threw it out and framed the print. But it's a great print. And he's got the Winchester Auto 95, I think that is. I'm not quite sure. Can't remember now. And the grizzly bear about to pounce on them. Sorry for the shadows there. You can't see it very well. Nice dream catcher with a bone carved bear in the middle. Another set of snowshoes. Nice double hard shelled case there. Some shotgun stocks for you guys that are redoing old shotguns. Some cleaning kits, military one, and a single moose antler over there if you want to carve knife handles out of it. Just make sure you get a face mask on when you do that. This is a really neat shelf. It's just a repro thing, decorative thing, but it's really well made, and it's the Trenton River Wisp fly reel. But great if you've got a collection of fly reels you want to display. Another reproduction thing, Ducks and More. It's a Ducks Unlimited thermometer there. Some whips, another more of a primitive decoy there. Got some nice goose decoys, silhouette goose decoys. Great for gardens, ladies, if you don't want to use them for hunting. And a bunch of working birds there. A little lot of some old leather holsters and binoculars. Another pellet gun, crossman. A couple more soft shell cases over there. And in here we have a great bear skull. Nice clean one too. Let's see if I can go around this side and give you a view of them. Great display piece there. Nice skinning knife with antler handle. We've got a great collection of crooked knives. Now these two right there are a lot, and they are quite early. And next to it is Bubby Morris. He was a folk artist here in Nova Scotia, a well-known folk artist, and that's one of his. And the one in the sheath. Let me try it from up here. They're in the showcase, so a little difficult to get out. Yeah, one with a sheath and one without. A couple hunting knives, some shooting metals, some various bear teeth, bear claws, if you're doing any necklaces and that sort of thing. And speaking of that, there's a necklace there with 2 bear teeth. Nice Crossman pellet gun with an extra long barrel. A couple of boomerangs. These were brought back from Australia in 1970. So a good early set there. You can have fun trying those out. neat old hunting knife, at least 75 years old. Really early powder horn with a 1933 New Brunswick hunting license on it, deer hunting license, which they were in buttons back then. Now this is a really great piece. It's a tomahawk head, or an axe head, however you want to say it, but the shaft was tied onto it later, but it was a found axe head on its own. But even the shaft is not that new, so it's got some age to it as well, but the head is an original stone axe head. Okay. And here we have a great looking wood duck. Or is that a harlequin? No. Wood duck, yeah. Wood duck drake by Bud McQueen from Riddles, New Brunswick. Carved in 1990. Great looking bird, really well carved. He actually did these other birds that I'm going to show you a little later, same carver, so he's quite good at what he does. And a great little puffin decoy here, quite like him. I don't know this guy, Neil White. Don't know much about him. Atlantic puffin. Some neat old ships, but these are coming in the next one, so keep your eye open for those. Look at this fabulous light. This thing is incredible. I haven't got it all together just yet, but that's going to be in the antique one coming up too. We got some great bird models here. Let's see if I can focus on it. Beautiful peregrine falcon model. Now these are just like a composite stuff, so they're not actually carved, but they are signed. Well, this one's a Ducks Unlimited one, but the other ones I'm going to show you soon are carved, or signed by carvers, I should say. So we got a beautiful seal pelt there, and we've got some gorgeous early percussion cap shotguns, double barrel shotguns. Two double barrels here, these two right here, and this one here is a Thompson, so it's a well-known. Has perfect working action, comes with its ramrod, clean barrels. As far as I'm concerned, that's fireable. And this is a beautiful Birmingham by Hughes. High quality gun, but as you can see, the second hammer tip is broken off. Now I have worked that hammer and it's super strong action. Again, I have no qualms at all about firing these if you want to do some of your own percussion loading. Beautiful ramrod on that one, brass tipped. And this is an old fowling musket with a Damascus twist barrel, single shot. Again, great, beautiful engraving on there. Nice wood, nice stock, nice thin grips. Some really good quality wood in here. You can see the tiger striping. And again, that one's not a working action, but a great wall hanger, something you want to put above the fireplace. Everybody can do that. Don't need a license for any of these four. And here we have another percussion fowling musket. Now this one does have a working action. Has its original percussion cap nipple there. It has a newer one put on, so somebody's obviously tried it over the years. But there's four beautiful old muskets that just look great in a camp or above your fireplace. You could fire them if you really wanted to, but they're fully legal for you to hang just like that. Some neat old hatchets. That's a Gilpin, and it is marked here with the crossed hammers. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not, but this one is fantastic. Like, look at the curve of the handle, but here's the, I tried to get this online, I couldn't really get it, but it is the official Scouts. Let's see. It's the official Scout Axe of Canada, and it has the Scout emblem up at the top. So that's a very scarce little hatchet to find these days. A couple reels in a lot, I think, or maybe they're separate. This one's interesting, Thor spinning reel, but the hole's out the front, but it would sit on like that. Sit on your rod sideways, but the string out the front. I've never had one like that before. And we've got these beautiful crooked knives. Now, we're not sure who carved any of these. Antler handles, pine handles. Some have chip carving on them, like you see here. All have, custom-made little leather
sheaths, and they're all a little bit different. Now this one is marked JW. I don't know if that helps anybody to know who might have made these. Beautiful tooled eagle in the leather there. This one has almost like a little dog's head, kind of a handle on it. But all really nice made crooked knives. A really high quality, beautiful fly fishing vest here with, you know, spots for your flies, and does have flies in it. And it also comes with 2 tins with flies in it. So have a look online. Really nice quality. Doesn't look like it was ever hardly worn. It's got all its straps, pockets, you name it. So if you're into fly fishing, there you go. And this one, I can't remember if that's from the Sioux, but that's from one of the Winchester collectible guns as well. Has this little mark here in the suede, but other than that, it's perfect. So if you're missing one for your collector Winchester, that's a good one to have. Let's see, swing over here. Got that Brent Cottrell watercolor up for sale. We had this for sale before, so we dropped the opening bid to next to nothing, like $25. So that's a beautiful original watercolor you could get. As usual, some various small lots, some ATV helmets, some fleshing draw knives, some books, some taxidermy books from way back when. Lot full of pocket knives, a great big giant Ducks Unlimited throw with a cabin on it and everything, really neat. Some gun locks, an early heavy holster, a trench art collection of various things, lighters and button cleaners and that sort of thing. An Optimus 8R little backpacker stove, and I mean, look at the size of this. So this is, and these are really well known, really famous. Please look that up. The Optimus 8R, they sell well into the $100. Great little backpacker stove there. Some neat old shells and a serviceman, French serviceman booklet. That's a lot. Now I think we'll have to find you some guns to look at. Alright, so I'm going to show you just a few of the guns that we have for sale in the auction. I'm not going to dig out all the 22s and everything else, so please go online. HarrisonSonsAuctions.com. You can link off there to the high bid website where our listing is. But I am going to show you some that I think are worth having a look at. So, this is a beautiful over-under we have here, the Stevens Model 512. And that's a 20 gauge. It's beautiful with the little gold pheasant on there. We sold a set of these a few years back and they did really well. And this gun's pretty much mint condition. So you can go online, have a look around. I mean, the barrels are mirror. The condition is fantastic on this gun. And that is one gorgeous bird gun for you there if you like pheasant hunting, partridge hunting, that sort of thing. Little locker mark here and there, easily touched up. And to go back older, this Stevens here, good old side-by-side double barrel, hammerless, 2 triggers. This is a single trigger down there. But the neat thing about this is you still have the original tag with it, which is kind of fun to have. Condition is fantastic again, especially for the age of this one. It's a much older shotgun. But the story of the consignor, this was his uncle's gun, and he ordered it out of a Sears catalog. And the postman came with it and just laid it on his mailbox out in front of the farm. And when he got finished work, he came home, and there it was, leaning against the post on the mailbox. So times sure have changed, but yeah, they used to deliver those and just lay them there, and nobody would take them, and nobody worried about it, you know. And that was because, you know, people were much more honest. And like I always say, it's not a problem with the guns these days, it's a problem with sin. That's where the problem is. It has nothing to do with the gun. It's the person behind the gun that causes all the trouble. So, you know, back in those days, kids used to ride around on their bicycles with .22 rifles, pegging off rabbits and squirrels and whatnot. So really, you know, you can't tell me that it's the gun's problem. It's people's problem. So 2 beautiful shotguns there for you. We only have 2 handguns in the sale. And in case you haven't noticed,
good old Justin's come up with another one where he's decided he's probably going to put a freeze on buying handguns for 2 years. I guess he figured that was really going to slow everything down, and what it's done is it's let everybody that owned a handgun in the business sell out completely. So basically it's almost impossible to get your hands on handguns all of a sudden because they've all sold out. So all he did was stimulate the market. But we have a percussion cap. You know, it's a reproduction, but you still need your restricted license for it. So that's your typical ball and cap for your shooting ranges. And we got a really nice Smith & Wesson here. I don't have the keys handy for the locks, but this is a beautiful working, excellent gun in great condition. So, and that's why we only have 2 of them, because nobody's giving them up right now, because they're not going to be able to get any soon, according to him. And that's kind of a scary thought when they start disarming everybody, as far as I'm concerned. But everyone's allowed to have their opinion. So anyway, I'm going to put these aside and show you some more. Okay, here's a few more of our hunting rifles here. Now this is a Bruno 223, absolutely gorgeous gun, excellent condition. Comes with the scope, also in excellent condition. Like, there's nothing wrong with these as far as the stock, the action, the bore, nothing. Great gun there for a hunter. That's in 223 Remington, and I'm told that one is a tack driver. So just an excellent gun there. And we have a Winchester Model 94. This one does have a scope, but this, again, the condition, the bluing, everything is almost perfect. I mean, this gun is in mint condition. The scope is side mounted, so I'm assuming these are properly put in through the existing holes, so they didn't drill it out. Excellent gun, 32 special, smooth action, just a beautiful, absolutely excellent condition gun. And we have probably less guns than we usually have, but again, that's thanks to our government. Everybody's deciding they want to keep what they do have. The other thing is ammunition. If you haven't been out shopping for ammunition in the last year or so, just take a walk through your local Canadian Tire and see what's on the shelves. I'm getting told by those guys that everything's getting stopped at the border, and they're just choking everything with paperwork. And I was in a Canadian Tire yesterday, there was no 30-30, no 30-06, 22 is getting scarce, and we have a lot less ammo than we usually have on the sale as well. So again, it's just not coming in like it was, and the price is on there. If you need some ammunition, you might as well grab them, because you come hunting season, you're going to find out that there's nothing available for you. And this is our pre-64 Winchester 30-30. Again, excellent gun. It's got the typical varnish loss on the stock, but there's no cracks, no chips. I did tell you it's 30-30. Now this one, by the serial number, will date, depending on what site you're on, it's either 1960 or 1959. But the site that calls it 1960 starts with a number 28,000 higher than this in 1960. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a 1959 Winchester. But either way, pre-64, excellent gun, very desirable, both the Winchesters. And if you're looking for a good hunting rifle with scope, there you go. And go get some else. Okay, so make sure to go on and see some of the other guns that I didn't get out. Like I say, 22s, some there's a 410 shotgun, there's an SVT 40 in there, so some interesting stuff. But this is probably, without a doubt, just about the most interesting historical gun we've ever had in here. And we've had some great ones, but this is an original Jennings rifle. Now, there are very few of these ever made. This one has had conversions done to it in over its lifetime, but still, it is what it is, and it's a very scarce gun. Now, what we did put was that this is a Origins of Winchester. That was just a quick way of saying that this was one of the first attempts at building a repeating rifle. Now, this would have originally had a tube magazine here, and they were meant to fire rocket ball ammunition. Now what that was the ball actually had the powder in the ball, and it had a little cork plug with a small hole in the cork, and so your powder and your shot were, for the first time, all in one. Now those would have been loaded by this being a lever action, which it no longer does. I wish I had a cloth here from my table. Let's see here. Just put that at the end of the barrel so it doesn't keep banging on the glass. So when you would lever, a bolt would go back. You were meant to hold the gun up like this so that rocket balls would just fall gravity down in, and then when you put it forward, it would load one into here. Now, after that, what was happening up here, where you see, it's funny, this action still works. They put a percussion cap on here now, because what happened is, in history, this was a very finicky rifle. It never really worked the way it was supposed to, although its idea was what gave birth to the Henry, and then later the Volcanic, or before actually the Volcanic, then the Henry, and then the Winchester. So this is where Winchester begins, is right here in this factory. Now Smith, who's Smith & Wesson, came up with this system here where they had a little, basically like a percussion cap, but a smaller one that would rotate around. This should have had a round plate over it, and that would drop down into here, and this would have originally had a long bar on it that when it came down, it would go right down inside. It would ignite that little primer. That primer would explode and ignite the rocket ball, and the rocket ball would go down the barrel, and away she goes. It was a finicky thing. It never really worked the way it was supposed to work. But while Jennings was responsible for this action, Smith was responsible for this. And the funny thing was that Henry actually worked in the factory, Henry from Henry Rifles, as the shop foreman. And Smith, I believe it was, if I get this correct, and please go on and read the history. It's a fantastic, very interesting history. Smith was actually working for a different company that it's not Jennings, but it's another name that was part of it, Palmer, I believe it was. They were making parts, and Smith had to come to the factory to just put his okay on these parts that were getting sent to his company. So he was witnessing all this, and Daniel Wesson was also there. So you have, in the factory where this is being produced, and they only made, I believe, 400 of them, something like that, you have Smith, Wesson, and Henry from Henry Rifles. And Smith & Wesson would later, this one dies around 1854, I believe, somewhere in there where they've given up on it. Smith & Wesson later decide that this just needs some more tweaking and we can build something out of it, and they turn around and make the Volcanic guns that we know. So this is really the beginning of lever actions, and then Henry goes on to make his lever action, and which leads to Winchester. So if you're a Winchester collector, you're probably not going to get too many opportunities to own one of these. And even though we don't have a lot of its original parts anymore, the tube magazine is gone, the little cover is gone, and it has been made so this can no longer lever. So this doesn't lever anymore, but it does still fire. So in its second life, where somebody's turned it into basically a percussion shotgun, it still functions great. It's got a strong action. So and that one's got the plate there, yeah. Now whether this can be changed, I don't know, but that's the original stock. It's got its original plate on here. The stock's in very good condition. I mean, there's a chip here, but you have the original crescent shaped butt plate. Very crude, very heavy barrel. But you know, this is an 1850 gun, so it's very early. But there is the beginning of repeating rifles. A fantastic thing. I think right now it's sitting at $500. I was only able to find one Smith Jennings rifle. that was much more complete, granted, but it was 16,000 and change American. So like I say, you're not going to get any opportunities to get one of these. It's antique status, so anybody can own it. You can hang it above your fireplace, and you can read a fantastic history online. Go on, have a look at these. It's an incredible moment in history and the evolution of the lever actions that we all enjoy today. So that's basically all I'm going to show you today, folks. The auction ends this Thursday. Starts closing at 9 p.m. Atlantic time, soft close auction as always. And just remember that if we run into any issues, and it's not that there's really an issue with your card, it's probably more that they don't have their system working properly as yet. And I've already tried to transfer one and ran into a problem with one where they just finished giving the guy a brand new 5-year card. So later it turned out fine, but it stopped us for like 2 weeks for no reason whatsoever. So that's just the bureaucratic baloney. And but other than that, everything should be the same. Ammunition is pickup only as always, and hopefully we'll get another one in the fall. Thanks for watching, everybody. God bless. Have a great day.